Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I do these videos throughout the week when I get questions. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company, 40,000 therapists working for them. International, they can do international if their licensure allows that. Their PhD level, master's level, go on to betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez, fill out a few questions, and they will place you with a qualified therapist in your area. So there that is. Okay. Delusions. Let's talk about delusions. So that is part of the schizophrenia spectrum and other psychotic disorders. So the key features that define the psychotic disorders. So a delusion is a fixed belief that is non-amenable to change in light of conflicting evidence. So they believe it no matter what. Their content may include a variety of themes, persecutory. Anyway, people are out to get them. That's what it is. They're being persecuted. Referential, ideas of reference. So somebody's wearing a sweater and that's signaling something to them. That's referential. Somatic, meaning body stuff. So their delusion is, say, for example, that their body has been replaced by cyborg parts, and they believe it to the core, and you cannot convince them otherwise. Religious or grandiose, okay? Persecutory delusions, the belief that one is going to be harmed, harassed, and so forth by an individual, organization, or other group are the most common. Referential delusions, the belief that certain gestures, comments, environment cues, and so forth are directed at them, are also common. Grandiose delusions, when an individual believes that he or she has exceptional abilities, wealth, or fame. And erotomanic delusions, when an individual believes falsely that another person is desperately in love with him or her, are also seen. Nihilistic delusions involve the conviction that a major catastrophe will occur, and somatic delusions focus on preoccupations regarding health and organ function. Delusions are deemed bizarre if they are clearly implausible and not understandable to same culture peers and do not derive from ordinary life experiences. An example of a bizarre delusion is the belief that an outside force has removed his or her internal organs and replaced them with someone else's organs without leaving any wounds or scars. An example of a non-bizarre delusion is the belief that one is under surveillance by the police despite a lack of convincing evidence. Delusions that express a loss of control over mind or body are generally considered to be bizarre. These are the belief that one's thoughts have been removed by some outside force, thought withdrawal, that alien thoughts have been put into one's mind, thought insertion, and that doesn't necessarily mean alien like outer space alien. It means something that's not yours. Or that one's body or actions are being acted on or manipulated by some outside force, delusions of control. The distinction between a delusion and a strongly held idea is sometimes difficult to make and depends in part on the degree of conviction in which the belief is held, despite clear or reasonable contradictory evidence regarding its veracity. So I suppose in regards to the narcissist thinking that everybody loves him, that could be considered a delusion, because it's possible, but it's not happening. And there's evidence to the contrary that they absolutely are unwilling to listen to. So yeah, in that regards, yeah, I would say that would qualify as a delusion. It's a non-bizarre delusion, but it is a delusion. So yeah. So hallucinations are different. Hallucinations are things that you see with your eyes or hear with your ears that are not there. Okay. Let's see if I can find anything else in the DSM. Okay, delusional disorder. Okay. Excuse me, I'm still getting over that stupid cold. Okay, so delusional disorder is diagnosed if A, the presence of one or more delusions with a duration of 1 month or longer. B, criterion A for schizophrenia has never been met. Note, hallucinations, if present, are not prominent and are related to the delusional theme. For example, the sensation of being infested with insects associated with delusions of infestation. C. Apart from the impact of the delusions or its ramifications, functioning is not markedly impaired and behavior is not obviously bizarre or odd. And that is the thing that makes delusions so difficult, is because they'll be delusional about this one part of their life, but they're able to hold a job, they have a relationship, maybe they have family, so it's like the rest of their life is not really impacted the way it is if somebody has schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, everything's impacted. They have a really hard time functioning in society at large. So, okay. If manic or major depressive episodes have occurred, these have been brief relative to the duration of the delusional periods. And E, the disturbance is not attributable to the physiological effects of a substance or other medical condition and is not better explained by another mental disorder such as body dysmorphic disorder or obsessive compulsive disorder. Then you have to specify whether it's erotomatic. This subtype applies when the central theme of the delusion is that another person is in love with the individual. Grandiose, this type applies when the central theme of the delusion is the conviction of having some great but unrecognized talent or insight or having made some important discovery. Jealous type, this subtype applies when the central theme of the individual's delusion is that his or her spouse or lover is unfaithful. Narcissists do that a lot, usually because they're the ones cheating, but it's a thing. Persecutory, if I could say that word, persecutory type. This type applies when the central theme of the delusion involves the individual's belief that he or she is being conspired against, cheated, spied on, followed, poisoned, or drugged, maliciously maligned, harassed, or obstructed in the pursuit of long-term goals. Somatic type. This type applies when the central theme of the delusion involves bodily functions or sensation. Mixed type. This subtype applies when no one delusional theme predominates, so they could have different delusions going on. Unspecified applies when the dominant delusional belief cannot be clearly determined or is not described in the specific types. For example, referential delusions without prominent persecutory or grandiose component. Specify if it's with bizarre content. The situations that seem clearly implausible, things that definitely, all your body organs being replaced, but there are no scars, that kind of thing. So that is delusional disorder. So yeah, in regards to believing that everybody loves them, even in the face of clear evidence, especially if you've, pointed out to them, it's like, hey, everybody avoids you because you're annoying, and they're just like, no, everybody loves me. That would be considered delusional. Yeah. Because there's the evidence, and it's possible that they're well loved, but they're not. So yeah. So in that case, yeah, I would say that's a delusion for sure. But anyway, that is what delusions are. They usually are not in regards to what a narcissist does. Usually when I come across somebody that's got a delusional disorder, they've got it's usually bizarre. They usually have a bizarre belief in something that is not possible or plausible. And it's akin to schizophrenia. So it's kind of how do I explain this? It's kind of a precursor. It's kind of like, okay, this is not going to get better on its own. Something is going on. And usually, not always, but usually the person that has the delusion goes on to develop schizophrenia. So, or bipolar with psychotic features. I mean, that's another thing that I see happening. So, anyway, that is what a delusion is. Does that refer to the narcissist? I would have to say, yeah, because it's plausible. It's plausible that everybody loves them and they're well loved, but nobody does, and everybody avoids them, yet they cling to that belief that they are well loved and, a liked person. So yeah, that would be kind of delusional. You betcha. So anyway, that is what a delusion is. All right, you guys, on Wednesday, I will be talking about fetal alcohol syndrome because I know that there was some questions about that. So go have a great week and I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Bye.